How strong is the SEAL's sixth sense? He just glanced at the crowd around him and immediately sensed he was being followed.
Look in the mirror behind you. There's a man, brown cap, wraparound shades. You see him?
No.
Before the reporter could react, Reese grabbed her and rushed out of the restaurant. But as soon as they got back to the car and sat down, a black sedan quietly pulled up behind them. That's when Reese did something shocking. He shot and killed the man who was tailing them, searched the guy's wallet but found it completely empty. No ID, no credit cards, nothing. Then he noticed a file lying on the passenger seat. Reese quickly handed it over to the reporter. It was not until this moment that the female reporter finally realized that the real victim was actually Reese. He had served in the Navy, but his wife and daughter were brutally murdered in a conspiracy. In order to find the mastermind behind the scenes to avenge his family, after digging through the evidence, he suspected a man named Saul might be involved. So he met up with his buddy Ben and headed to the golf club where Saul was playing. When Saul returned to his room to brush his teeth, Ben quietly turned on the speaker in the bedroom. Hearing the music, Thor, who had no idea what was going on, walked into the room to check. The next second, a plastic bag suddenly covered his head, and the strong feeling of suffocation made him quickly faint. When he came to, he was tied to a chair. Reese kindly helped him take off the plastic bag, but he didn't expect it. Until he shouted exhausted, Reese turned off the stereo and began to question him about the identity of the mastermind behind the scenes. Then he used both soft and hard tactics to force Saul to ask the real murderer behind the scenes.
Steve.
And finally, Saul spilled it. Steve was the one pulling the strings. Although he didn't know what Steve was planning, he knew that the forces behind the billionaire were complicated. Reese believed that the tragedy that happened in Syria 2 weeks ago was probably the result of Steve's secret manipulation. Saul admitted it was a top-secret project.
Project RD 4895.
Saul said he only knew that the name was a confidential project. This was a highly confidential project, and the content and purpose of it were not something that a small person like him could know. At this time, Reese asked him a key question.
Who did you send to kill my family?
After hearing this, Saul realized that Reese would never let him go.